Hello, in this jQuery video I am going to show you how to get the element's dimensions. So there's a few different basic properties that you can actually get from a element, and the basic one is width and height. So this is purely how much space that element takes based on its content essentially. Then what you can do is get something called inner width and inner height, which also factors in padding that might be on the left and right for width, and padding on the top and bottom for the height. Then you can get the outer width and the outer height as well, which also outer width factors in the border as well on top of the padding. So you might have border left to right, top and bottom, that sort of stuff. And then we can do finally outer width if you pass in a parameter of true, or outer height with a parameter of true. It factors in everything including the margin. So let's create a div element, and I'll assign an ID here, and I'll call this red box. I like red boxes. And I've already got some code here. So if I do red box, I'm gonna just say width is 200 pixels, height is 350 pixels. So we can't actually set the inner height, the outer height, or the inner width or the outer width in CSS. That just factors in stuff like the padding, the border, and the margin. So if I save that and I reload, and I'm going to say min width. Why is this not working? The reason it's not working is because it's probably just right size. I just haven't got a background color for it yet. So if we'll put a background color of red. There we go. Okay, so we got the box. Now let me just do console.log. And to be able to get these different properties, what I'll do is create a few variables. So var, and I'll say width equals. Then you need to select the element. So I'm going to say hash red box. And to be able to get the width is literally simple. You just do dot width. You can obviously get it via a CSS property, but this just allows you to get it directly, and it's just really simple and really easy. Okay, so that allows us to be able to get it. And now we are going to get the height as well. Height. So I am going to console log out the width. I'm going to console log out the height and see what we get. So if I reload, we get a value of 200 and 350. So 200, 350, that makes sense. So now if we go to this diagram, let's add some padding. So I'm just going to add padding all the way around. Just keep it simple. So add a padding of 10 pixels. If we reload, as you can see, though this increased in size, the actual width and height didn't change. If we go to elements and scroll down, this is really cool. You can see that this is the element, and then we have this little 10 pixel padding, the left, the right, and the top and the bottom. So to be able to detect that in jQuery, we can just copy this just to keep it simple, and we'll say this is going to be inner width now, inner height, and I will just copy and paste it here because that's what the methods are called as well. And I'll actually put width, something along these lines, just to make it easier to see what each value represents, because as we get about I think about 6, probably about 8 values in total printing out, it's going to be, it might be hard to distinguish, especially if you're just looking at the source code. And now we are going to do the same for the inner width, the inner height. So inner width, inner height. If I reload it now, as you can see, we get 220 and 370. You might be thinking, well, we added a padding of 10 pixels, but don't forget, if we go here, the padding is 10 pixels on the left and 10 pixels on the right. So that's a total of 20 extra pixels for the width in terms of the inner width, and same for the height as well. If you had a different amount for the left and different amount for the right, the figures will be different because you just add them together and adds it to the width or the height. And next we're going to look at the outer width, which factors in border. So if I put, let's say, border, and I'm going to say border dash size of 2 pixels. I'll say border dash color of black. Reload it, see what we get. I'm gonna need a border dash style, and I'll say solid. There we go. Okay, so we got a border now as well. These values haven't changed. So now let's get the outer width. So outer, can just easily select it like this. So outer, and outer as well. Next, we are going to just copy and paste this and modify it so it is printing out the outer width and the outer height. Outer. Okay, so now if we reload, as you can see, it factors it in as well in terms of the actual size. So next, what we are going to look at, and if we just inspect the element, you can see that we have a border of 3. And if we go to the actual sort of style here, it's per default one of 3 because it's border dash width. I don't know why I put border dash size. I'll reload that now. It's a little thinner. We got the proper value applied, and it's 224. That was a little mistake on my part. Finally, I am going to add some margin. The margin won't be inside, so the color won't increase. It just sort of moves it away, or moves elements away from it. So if I put a margin, again, you can apply a specific margin to the left, the right, the top, and the bottom, but I'm going to keep it simple. Apply margin on 90 pixels. 90 pixels. I reload. As you can see, it's moved away, but nothing's reflected here. Now remember to get the outer width. I'm going to say outer width with margin. You just need to pass in a parameter of true. That is it. So if I do the same here, and finally, I just need to copy and paste this. Outer width with margin. Outer width. Oh no, it meant to be outer height with margin. And I just need to modify these. Okay, so if I save that, reload, there we go. We get that factored in as well. So we had a total. What was it meant to be? It was meant to be 90 pixels. 90 plus 90 because it's on the left and the right. It's 180. 224 plus 180 is 404. And you can do the same check with the height as well, and it will all add up. So this has been quite a long video, don't get me wrong. We've covered quite a lot with the the dimensions. This is really useful to be able to just get the dimension. It could be the dimensions of the window itself, the document, any element. It does not matter. And that's a really powerful thing. Depending on the dimensions, you could position other items accordingly. This is how responsive frameworks work. They use a combination of CSS and jQuery to ensure that things are always looking correctly, even when there's a few pixels changed on the screen. One last thing that I'm going to show you is actually how to just set the height and the margin. You can actually do that, so you don't have to just constantly get it. So if I create a button, And if in this button I have an ID of click me, click me, and this is going to say change width and height. So I just have one to change both of them, and I need to first pick up that actual button. So click me. Obviously, if you want to know more about selectors, feel free to check out that part of the series, and more about events like click, feel free to check out that part of the series. Function. Now all I'm gonna do is you select what you're essentially changing the width and the height for, so red box, and you do dot width. If you leave it with no parameters, it returns the width. If you provide a parameter, you'll set the width to that now. So if I say 400, I'll save that, and I'm just going to set the width for now. And I click this. As you can see, it's changed the width. Actually, as an extra task, what I want you to do is change the height. I want you to create an extra button. Use what you've learned over over this series, and create a button that changes the height. Maybe even go a step further, create a text box, some sort of text input where you can put a number in, and when you click the change width or change height button, it actually gets the value from that input, and that is why it's applied. That would be really cool. Look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.